Today I'm bringing some amazing statistics that will change the way you train for tournaments. It will give you a clear perspective on what exactly to work on and reorganize your training sessions when you're on the tennis court. We will know how much consistency matters when we're playing those tournaments on grass courts, clay courts, or hard courts. Where should you lean more and spend more time when you're practicing so that the outcome of those tournament matches is in your favor? And those limited hours that you take out for training are spent on what exactly matters. I'll also give you facts to prove what is the number one way that wins you point. What rally lengths are most important that needs more practice, and what rally length has correlation with winning those matches, and where do majority of errors occur. Welcome all. Before we dive into the treasure of data and stats and find out what exactly is happening in matches on junior level to pro level, please show me a gesture of appreciation by subscribing to the channel, like this video and sharing it with your tennis community so that I can bring more valuable content for you all. Let me first build up consistency. Consistency is the foundation of our game. You have to put a couple of balls in order to enjoy the game, to attract more players so that they play with you. Our mantra all these years have been, don't miss. We have been repeating this again and again all these years and keeping those sessions purely dedicated to doing long rallies, hitting 100 shots on forehand, 100 shots on backhand, and so on. It's good for beginners and at levels where students are learning to keep the ball in play. We have seen pros and recreational players practicing on courts and doing those long rallies consistently and never missing a shot. You just feel amazed. How can be they so consistent? But we don't see that happening in tournament matches. Tennis is a game of errors more than winners. Our mantra should be make them miss. 6-year stats from Australian Open: 65, 64, 65, 64, 64, 64% errors from 2015 to 2020. It's always going to be this. Here we have stats from 4 slams in 2015. 68% errors came from men versus 32% winners. 71% errors came from women players versus 29% winners. We can clearly see there are more errors than winners. Every point ends in one of 3 ways: winner, unforced error, and forced error. Unfortunately, when we look at match statistics, we see winners, we see unforced errors, but we don't find forced errors. You have to add winners and unforced errors and subtract that number from total points to figure out a player's forced error total. Forced error are what players should obsess over, get control of the point and make the opponent miss. It's repeatable and forms the beating heart of game plans. Now let's break down these errors. 41% forced errors, 27% unforced errors from men's players, and 37 forced errors and 34% unforced error came from women players. Stats from Wimbledon 2024. 34% winners, 29% unforced errors, and 37% forced errors came from men players. If we combine winners and forced errors, they form 70% of the points won. If we look at women's matches stats, 30% winners, 35% forced errors, and 35% unforced errors. And when winners and forced errors combined, it made 65% of the points won. The number one way point ends in tennis is that you make your opponent uncomfortable. We have to lean on the opponents to win points much more than we hope that opponent will give us points. The player who leans on the opponent first tends to stay in control of the point. Unforced errors, we don't know how many we're going to get. And winners are going to be a part of winning points too. Our practice courts are back-end loaded, working on consistency. Our match court is front-end loaded with first strike. These are the three rally lengths: 0 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 plus rallies. In Australian Open 2015, 70% of the total points played ended in 0 to 4 shots. 7 out of 10 points require the players to hit maximum of 2 shots each. This is what we need. This is what we need to practice. These stats are from Australian Open 2017. 68% 0 to 4 shots from men and 67% from women. And look at this. Men did more rallies than women in the 9 plus rally length. And we always thought women did longer rallies, but what do these stats say? This means that girls need not different kind of coaching than boys. They're all merging. Is there any level in our sports where 0 to 4 is not number one? Think about it. Maybe girls 12 and under? Come on. Say I see them every week and they're just moonballing and rallying. Here's the data from 6 different levels: 12s, 14s, 16s, 18s, college, and pro levels. These are national level US and Canada numbers. Number 1 rally length at every level in our sport is 0 to 4. Hitting a ground stroke following a ground stroke is much easy. Hitting a ground stroke following a serve or return is much difficult. Data from US Open Championship. Juniors to pro level. Girls 12s were number 1 in hitting forehand winners. The rest data is so similar. 0 to 4 shots on different surfaces matter, right? It should make a big difference in Roland Garros and Wimbledon. Wimbledon has to have more short points and Roland Garros has to have more longer rallies. Here are the numbers from 2016 slams. Australian Open, 69%. US Open, 68%. Wimbledon, 71%. And Roland Garros, 67%. They're all almost the same. And the fact that it rained washed out so many matches in Paris that year that Novak Djokovic and Serena Williams had to play 4 consecutive days. All of those horrible conditions should have promoted longer rallies there. These are all facts being shown here. There's the 4 slams in 2016 with 0 to 4, 5 to 8 and 9 plus rallies. No matter whether you're playing left-handed or right-handed player, playing on clay or grass. Recent Italian Open 2024 final match between Zverev and Jarry. Clay court and 0 to 4 shots, 67%. Each rally length has a different landscape mentally. Players go on the court and work on 9 plus rallies, keep hitting balls and work on long rallies and they love it. 5 to 8 rally length is the tennis IQ. It's for smart players. They build through 0 to 4 and finish between 5 to 8. This is where patterns come into play. 0 to 4 is the least practiced and most ignored area in our game because it's rough. You have to keep your serve in, you've got to keep your return in, you're rushed to play that serve +1 and rushed to play that return +1. Things fall apart quickly in this rally length and players don't enjoy that. Winning correlation. Now let's look at the winning correlation. This is where we hit the bull's eye. This is where consistency, which we all love so much, falls apart. There are 2 criteria. The first criteria is that you won your match, and second criteria, evaluate if you won your match, did you accumulate more points than your opponent in 0 to 4 shots? Did you accumulate more points in 5 to 8 shots? And did you accumulate more points in 9 plus? So we get the data from 5 Grand Slams. One from 2015 US Open and all 4 slams in 2016. We want to find out the relationship between winning and these three areas. If players won the match, they won 91% of the times in 0 to 4 shots, 66% of the times in 5 to 8 shots, and 55% of the times in 9 plus. 9 plus is consistency. And you start the battle at 50-50, not at 0. Here's the data from 4 slams. The number one surface where 0 to 4 winning percentage is more is French Open. In US Open, there was no statistical advantage if you did 9 plus rallies. Here's the ladies' stats for US Open 2015. We always thought ladies did longer rallies, right? If they lost the match, they only had a winning record in one area: consistency. Match losers were consistent. Can you believe it? Yes, it's important at entry level. We're not throwing it out of the window completely. We're trying to change our mindset. Now let's find out, where do match winners get their points from? Where are those points living between winning and losing? In Australian Open 2016, all the points won by match winners were 10,500 points, and all the points won by match losers were 8,740 points. There's a gap of 1,760 points. 1,347 points, 77% were in 0 to 4 shots. 305 points, that makes 17%, were in 5 to 8 shots. And 108 points, 6% were in 9 plus rallies. In the match between Andy Murray versus Nishikori in US Open 2016, the data that we see how many winners and errors are within 0 to 4 shots, two amazing returners in the world. The thing that mostly happened between 0 to 4 was return error. That's a rally length of 1. And the second most errors came on serve plus 1. You serve, you get a return, and you make a mistake. That's a rally length of 2. In Andy Murray and Nishikori match, 16 errors combined from both of them came on serve plus 1. 14 of them happened in one spot of the baseline. Remember, we cut the baseline into 4, A, B, C, and D. It was C. They were rushing for time. They were taking time away. This is what our practice sessions need to evolve towards. More returning, practice to make less errors in the first 2 times you touch a ball. It's okay if you miss on the 5th shot rally, 7th shot rally, 9th shot rally, or 12th shot rally. And there's a very small number of unforced errors that happen between 0 to 4 shots rally. Mostly these are forced errors. So you have to make it uncomfortable for your opponent within 0 to 4. So now we have enough data to understand that forced errors make a major part of your winning points. 0 to 4 rally length plays an important role in winning matches, and the majority of forced errors that happen are between 0 to 4 rally length, and the errors that we need to reduce in order to win more matches. We need to modify our training so that they are more realistic, more match oriented, and bring good results when we go and play those tournaments. I would like to thank Craig O'Shaughnessy for coming out with tons of data and help players and coaches around the world in strategizing their trainings and working on areas that matter the most. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn a rally pattern that gets you more winners, then here's it. Watch it and enjoy, and don't forget to leave your comments and give your feedback. See you in the next video. Bye bye.